reunited and it feels so good.
Reunited.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, my friend.
How are you?
I'm good. You look good.
Oh, so do you.
Thank you.
And if it sounds like we haven't seen each other in forever, we haven't.
We haven't. It feels like a hot minute, but we haven't seen each other in
Doesn't
over...
it feel like 6 months has gone by? It's
really
only been about 2 weeks since our last episode, and we've seen each other and we've talked.
We have so much to catch up on.
I know. And okay, so from the jump, let's just say that it's vacation season around the office, around the workplace.
Yes.
And you've been on a break. I've been on a break.
Yeah, we're doing our thing.
And then we come back. Your schedule gets shifted around a little bit. So we don't see each other at night now. And
It's day and night, literally. So
Night and Day is actually the name of my mobile DJ service on the side.
There you go.
Maybe it was meant to be.
Maybe it was.
BB Rexa and Florida Georgia Line.
Hey, nice tie-in.
I keep up on the times.
You do.
So yeah, it's good to see you again, my friend.
You too.
And I'm glad that we're able to get in the studio here and record this episode, because this is something we've been talking about wanting to do for a very long time, a classic album clash. And I brought the idea to you like months ago, and you said...
And do we want to let the cat out of the bag on who the album clash is? Because this is a big artist still to this day today.
Yes, and the reason we picked it is because he himself hasn't been in the news per se in the last couple of weeks, but Prince. That's who we're talking about, the purple one.
The symbol. Yes.
The artist formerly known
AKA.
as.
Yes.
Or the love symbol is what he called that thing. Before we get into that, what two albums we're doing the clash on and explaining how that works, I feel like we have so much to catch up on. The last time we were in here doing we talked about George Strait.
King of Country.
And King George.
King George, yes.
So what was the feedback that you received? Do you remember that far back?
Oh my gosh. Everyone loved our show on King of Country, George Strait, because he's just such an amazing artist.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to be doing a podcast.
What?
Wouldn't it be amazing if, not his own podcast, but he's going to be on a podcast?
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great if he could be on ours?
Let's reach out.
And we
work in radio. We've got connections.
We have to reach out. And he's actually going to talk about one of the artists that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I think it's happening this weekend. Tom Petty.
Oh, I can't miss that.
So I know I got to figure out all the details.
Speaking of album clashes, that's one down the road we need to do.
Yes, I'll let you know when it's going to air. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, George Strait on Tom Petty. That's kind of like one of those, what they do, like CMT Crossroads type things.
Yeah.
You know, John Mellencamp will do something with like Keith Urban.
Yes, I love those.
Yeah, those are great. So I can't wait to hear that episode.
Yeah,
Very
me too.
cool. Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
Absolutely.
Speaking of country music and notable things that happened over the last couple of weeks, we have to speak on the death of Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, his daughter. That was just so unexpected. And I don't remember what happened. I mean, did they get more details about what happened with the car crash and like what exactly?
Oh, Hank Williams' daughter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about...
But that happened too.
Yeah, like
I said, there was so much to catch up on.
Oh my gosh, did we even talk about that?
I don't think we covered. Yeah, I think we briefly mentioned it in the George episode.
Okay.
Hank Williams' daughter was in a pretty tragic car accident.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard anything else.
And the boat trailer it was pulling.
Right, her and her husband, yeah. It's just a terrible accident, just awful. But yeah, Charlie Daniels, I mean, I know a lot of you guys here at the radio station have met him. I never got the chance to meet him, did you?
No, I feel like I'm like one of the rare ones that never met Charlie Daniels in person. Everybody I know in radio
have met him.
On my Facebook, the day he died, like shortly after, the following couple of days after the news of his passing, all of my radio friends posted pictures of them with Charlie Daniels.
Doesn't he seem like such a cool guy?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The devil went down to Georgia and apparently got a selfie with all of my radio peeps.
He really
right?
did.
But yeah, man, Charlie Daniels, what a national treasure he was. Aside from just the legendary status he was in country music and what he brought to that format.
He contributed so much to the rock country sound and to bluegrass.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
He'll be missed for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what? We are still missing Prince.
Oh, yeah.
So how about we segue into how he's made the news in the past 2 weeks with what would have been his 62nd birthday last month in June. And I thought this was pretty cool. The town of Henderson, Minnesota. I don't know if you know this.
I don't know Henderson, but I saw the video clip of this.
Purple Rain, the movie, was filmed in Henderson, Minnesota.
Right.
So they erected a life-size statue in like a really cool garden area to honor Prince.
It's beautiful. We got to post that up on our podcast Facebook page.
Yeah. Under the Influence Music Pod on Instagram and on Facebook. And then it's just at UTI Music Pod on Twitter. We'll be sure to post the link and the photos of the really cool Prince garden in the town where Purple Rain was filmed.
I want to go visit it. We should go someday.
Road trip.
Yes, for sure.
So if you don't hear another episode from us,
that's where we'll be
for about 3 or 4 more weeks. We're just hanging out in, the Tri-Cities or, hanging out in Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minnesota.
I was going to tell you, I worked in Minnesota for a short time. I lived in Duluth, Minnesota, which was about 3.5 hours from Minneapolis, Twin Cities.
Right.
So it was just so cool living there because of Prince's history and being from Minnesota. So
did you get to, was there a Prince museum, or did they have things in Minneapolis specifically that were tied to him that you got to visit?
I'm sure they did. I didn't get to visit anything Prince related, but where we lived, there was an area called the Iron Range, and Bob Dylan was born right there in Duluth, in a little town. So,
Bob Dylan started everything, didn't he?
I know, yeah. So much history coming out of Minnesota.
I just heard on another podcast I was listening to not too long ago. It was on John Denver.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Disgraceland is a great podcast you should listen to.
Oh, okay.
Jake Brennan, I think, is the host's name. So shout out to Jake and the peeps over at Disgraceland podcast. They do an awesome job. And it's kind of like more or less the fall of some of our favorite pop stars. There was one on Prince recently.
Oh, okay.
And then there was on John Denver and how he might have been associated with the assassination of JFK.
Wait, what?
Did you know, apparently John Denver was a sniper in the Vietnamese War?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, you got to go check out
I'm intrigued.
Great plug. They're not paying us to mention them.
No, I've never heard of them. I got to check it out.
Putting that out there. Disgraceland, a great podcast. Go check that out and listen to some of those episodes. But, apparently, John Denver was taken under the wing of Bob Dylan. Apparently, he got out of the army and he knew he wanted to become a singer.
Okay.
And so there was this one specific place, I forget the name of the town or the city, where all the folk singers back in the day played and they got their start. And of course, Bob Dylan was one of the headliners and the mainstays there for a while. And so kind of everything came up through Bob Dylan.
Interesting.
In this one little area, including John Denver.
That's so cool.
Isn't it neat how music just
it intersects. Yeah.
Getting back on track here with Prince, thought that was a really cool thing to mention with the Henderson, Minnesota, and erecting the garden and the life-size statue of Prince. Road trip happening soon. So before we get into our classic album clash, let's speak briefly, Adri, on what Prince music means to us individually and just maybe share some stories on seeing some of his most incredible live performances. I never got to experience him at a live concert.
Neither did I.
But I remember the 2007 Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
It was just the Prince takeover.
It was freaking amazing.
Still one of the hands-down best halftime performances of all time, and you can challenge me on that.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's gotten any better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, Prince just doing a halftime show, it blew everyone away.
Raised the bar, and it's still there. I don't think anyone's topped it since.
No, not that I can remember. I don't think anyone stood out to me in the last few years.
Shirtless Adam Levine, eye candy.
Okay, but I mean, Prince, you just can't beat it.
Just the epicness of that halftime show alone.
And he's so pint-sized,
You don't remember who played that game, but you remember.
You remember the performance.
Right.
And, I mean, him being such a small stature and him just blowing everyone away with his sound, just being so unique and amazing.
He had to be in his mid to late 50s.
Yeah, he probably was.
So for him to come out.
He was bringing it.
Oh, yeah, and every single night. I can imagine if that was a Prince show, every night that he was putting on that kind of epic performance, town to town.
Amazing.
Worth the price of admission.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I wish we could have had the chance to see him in concert.
Prince would have been a gret ticket.
Oh, I would have paid anything. I really would have.
I would have paid to see Prince at 4.5 years old in my Ninja Turtle underwear back when Purple Rain came out.
Oh, God. I would pay
There's a visual.
Oh, no. I can't get out of my head now.
Purple tights. I don't know.
That's really funny.
So do you have any memories of seeing some Prince live performances, or tell us what his music means to you?
When I was younger and I first heard the song Raspberry Beret and I saw it on MTV, I just fell in love. I mean, it's such a catchy song and the videos are really cool. And he just had a very special, unique sound when you heard Prince, you knew it was Prince.
Yeah.
He didn't sound like anybody else.
It was unmistakable, undeniable Prince.
Yes, everyone wanted to sound like him after he had came out. Yeah. But when Prince first hit the scene, I was like, I like this vibe. I like the coolness to it. It has a little pop, hip-hop, R&B. Like, it's just a whole mix of everything.
Some delicious synth pop keyboard vibes and, funk and soul. And...
Yeah, I mean, you could just feel that in all of his songs. And, I mean, a brilliant composer, writer. I mean, he wrote for so many different artists that a lot of people don't know. Didn't he write for Sinead O'Connor?
Everyone, yes.
I mean, there's just so many artists out there that have no idea that Prince wrote that specific
And think
song.
about artists today like the Justin Timberlakes, the Bruno Marses, The Weeknd.
Oh, for sure.
Recently, all influenced by Prince. Dua Lipa has come out and said,
my favorite.
You love when I bring up Dua Lipa.
Chalupa.
Yeah, remind you of a Taco Bell menu item.
I'm hungry.
Get you a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yes.
And a side of Dua Lipa.
I like it.
All right. She likes it like that.
Tell me how Prince influenced your sound, what you listened to.
Okay, again, I was really young, I think, at the time of, I was born in 1982. Mm-hmm. So that's the time that the 1999 album came out, shortly after Purple Rain in 84. And then from there, it just kind of continued to climb. So I didn't get into Prince until mid-90s.
That's
late
okay.
90s.
That's
I went back and I
okay.
said, oh, this guy's incredible.
Amazing.
And, some time had passed, right? So, 10, 15, almost 20 years had passed since he put out the two albums that we're going to be talking about momentarily. And so I was able to go back as a high schooler, middle school, high school, and then start discovering him from there. Even though he was still doing some stuff, he was still out there. Like I said, he changed he was the love symbol and the artist formerly known as.
Right.
The Emancipation album came out.
Oh, so good.
Right.
And his sound evolved over time. It wasn't like it was when he first started.
Yeah. So I don't think I appreciated him when he was first out in the 80s because I was so young. I wasn't into that music. For me, it was mom and dad had Prince on. More specifically, mom loved the shit out of Prince.
Yes, my mom did too. Little baby Jason.
Rocking out to some Darling Nikki, which again there's a visual. But in my adulthood, I've gone back and I've
rediscovered.
Yes, gone back to the Prince discography and his whole catalog, and I've listened to a lot of his tunes, and he has become one of my top artists.
He's an icon.
One of my favorites, yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the 1987 MTV performance. He had Sheila E., which I love Sheila E. Like
Glamorous Life.
She is badass, okay?
Yeah,
and when they teamed up together, it was just an awesome collaboration.
Was that the award show, like where he wore the buttless chaps and he turned around and he was exposed?
I don't know if it was that one. I know he was on MTV.
Oh, you would remember if it was that one.
I would remember that one for sure. I mean, he was just an amazing artist.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're calling it a classic album clash. So basically what that means is we have chosen two Prince albums, 1999.
So good.
And Purple Rain. And we're going to put those up against each other, and we're going to start discussing track by track which song is better. And then we'll keep a tally which song goes on each of our, I don't know, let's call it like a Paisley Power playlist.
Okay.
So we won't likely have the same songs.
We might.
On our individual playlist.
We might.
But that's kind of the fun of it,
Yeah, just to kind of see how we get all mixed up.
I think we'll agree on a few. But I don't know that we're going to have the exact same playlist.
I don't know.
It might be pretty amazing if that happens, though.
It will be.
Yeah, great minds think alike, they
say. Yes, absolutely.
So we'll start off with 1999, a little bit backstory, released October 27th, 1982. Purple Rain, released June 25th, 1984. So you're talking a span of 2 years, or just shy of 2 years apart here.
Yep.
And of course, these are the two Prince albums to have in your collection. There are some other ones later on in his career that came along that are amazing.
I love them.
The Emancipation album.
Yes, but these are the two when he first hit the scene. I mean, these are the ones that are the most memorable.
These took him to like superstardom.
To a whole other level.
Yeah, he was on his own cloud.
He really was.
It was the Purple Prince cloud.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice to be on?
Right?
Yes.
I like the vacation on that.
Me too.
I'm due for another one. I just came back from one.
You're already ready for another one.
Let's go again. Bags are still packed.
Let's do it.
So let's get into this. And what we're going to do, Adri, is we're going to go track by track and give our thoughts on both songs and why we picked one over the other.
Okay.
So do you want to go first?
Okay.
So let's set this up. First off,